Hammock tarps, doors or no doors? Coming up in this video. Hey everybody, what's going on? I'm Frozen with Outdoor Adventures. This channel is all about hiking, camping, and backpacking. If you're not subscribed to the channel and enjoy these topics, be sure to hit that subscribe button and click that notification bell so you can know whenever I post new content. So for the topic today, we're talking about, should you get a tarp with doors for your hammock or should you just leave them off? Now this is a great area to save a lot of weight and possibly a lot of money. But let me share my experience with you and you can make your own educated decision on the topic. Now, adding a tarp with doors could cost you possibly, depending on material, several ounces and maybe even $100. So it is a very big decision, especially if you're dropping maybe $300 or $400 on a tarp like I did. Now, for your casual backpacker, you might not have that expensive of a tarp. I just really enjoy backpacking. I've thru hiked the Appalachian Trail and I just get a lot of use out of my gear. So the first thing you need to be aware of is, how often do you actually go camping? If you're going camping and you're really looking at the weather and you decide not to go on, rainy days or windy days and you're just sticking to 3-season, very nice, gentle weather, then my suggestion is just stick with a tarp with outdoors. You can always upgrade your tarp at a later date and you should be perfectly fine. But for me, my trips are really not weather dependent. In fact, I really don't even look at the weather forecasts whenever I go on my backpacking trips. I just want to get outside. I don't have a lot of time to be adjusting my trip planning due to work. And whenever I plan a trip, I kind of just stick to it. So I've been in several situations where the weather has turned for the worst. I've tried everything I can to set my hammock up in a very protected area, and I still can get a lot of wind and a lot of sideways rain. I've even had nights where I'm up in the mountains and the weather has actually turned and the wind is now blowing right into my hammock from either the head or the foot end. And these are the nights that I am just so thankful that I had my gut instinct tell me to get a hammock tarp with doors. So not only do you need to look at the price and the weight, but you also need to look at your safety and how comfortable of a night's sleep that you want to get consistently. For me, having a tarp with doors that I can easily deploy in the middle of the night is just something that I need. There is just nothing worse than being kept up all night soaking wet while the wind blows and the rain just soaks your underquilt. It's very unnerving and it's just not a fun situation. Once you have a couple of those nights, you'll realize that you should have got the tarp with doors. Now again, if you're not doing crazy extreme backpacking, you're just going out every now and then no, I would not spend the money on just getting a tarp with doors. But for peace of mind, I really do enjoy it. There were several times, one being, I'm gonna just pick this right off the top of my head, there was a time in the Red River Gorge. I had just finished hiking a 16 or 17 mile day, and I was up on a very nice little overlook called Hanson's Point. I was up there alone, it was the middle of the week, and a big old thunderstorm rolled in. This was back when I had my War Bonnet Edge tarp. In fact, I don't even think they make this tarp anymore. I could be wrong, but that tarp did not have doors on it. It was my first tarp. It was a sill nylon tarp and it was great up to that night. I really didn't sleep at all because the wind was just freezing. It was so cold and the rain was just blowing right into my head. And sometimes I've camped in that edge tarp in the winter and the wind blows, the wind and the snow right through on top of my hammock. And it's just those days that make you really think that, man, I should have got a tarp with doors. Now, ever since then, I've never had an issue. If I can sense that the rain's coming in or maybe the wind direction is starting to change, what I will do is I will just simply get up out of my hammock, unclip my doors from my guy lines, and I will simply attach it to the opposing guy line end. It's actually a really convenient thing to do in the middle of the night, and then I just go right back to bed. I personally would get a tarp with doors, especially if you go on backpacking trips quite a bit, and even more if you decide to go with a Dyneema composite fabric material. You're already dropping about $350, maybe $300 on the tarp. You may as well just add those doors and have that tarp last a very, very long time. Grow into the tarp instead of out of it. Now, if you're having some reservations, or maybe you already have a tarp that doesn't have doors and you're not looking to upgrade anytime soon, but you're still battling or struggling with wind issues, what you should probably look into is something called an underquilt protector. An underquilt protector is simply the same material as your hammock, well, it could be depending on your hammock fabric, that sits underneath of your underquilt or underneath of your hammock. It kind of blocks a lot of the wind, it blocks a lot of the rain, and it will keep you protected without doors. And wrapping up, yes everybody, I prefer a tarp with doors, and I probably never ever will get a tarp without it again. If you found any use in this video, be sure to give it a like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the trail.